Hi, we're here with Jopie Helsen and Tom Peelen from Forespar Leisure Furl. And Jopie's just finished a circumnavigation around the world, so we were going to talk to you about experiences with Leisure Furl and offshore and all around the world. So tell us a little bit about your boat, Jopie.
The boat was designed by Martin Simmons from Simmons Vocht design firm in the Netherlands. The boat was built in New Zealand. It's a high-tech boat built with epoxy, carbon fiber, Kevlar. The mast is carbon fiber. When I got the boat, it had a stack pack on there, I looked at all the lines up there and the lines in the cockpit, and I said, "There's no way I want that."
Lots of spaghetti.
A lot of spaghetti, and I've had Leisure Furl on 2 previous boats, and I liked it. So instead of, when you're doing ocean sailing like that, and we did 32,000 miles of it, you want to be safe, but also make it easier so you don't have to have everybody on deck, which we didn't have enough people of anyway. But I understood Leisure Furl. I talked them into build me a custom carbon fiber boat for Sky. That's named the boat, SKY.
Carbon fiber boom, yeah.
Yeah, and in the 32,000 nautical miles of ocean sailing we've done, which obviously compared to the average person who sails, the only thing we really had to do was when we sailed halfway around the world in Brisbane, we had a new luff tape put on the mainsail, and that was it. It was just a great experience. The biggest advantage for us was being able to reef all the way to the end almost. I mean, we used to put 3 reefs in it many times, especially across in the Indian Ocean. It was 3 reefs and a staysail. That's how rough it was. And we just never had really an issue with the Leisure Furl furling system. You got to set it up correctly. Everybody knows that.
That's a big key too.
And,
make sure it leads all the lines are led back into the cockpit.
Absolutely.
Yours was hydraulic?
No, like
Electric?
Yeah. So in other words, it's a standard furler, but we use the electric winches in the cockpit to bring it in and out.
Yeah. I see this one behind us is a hydraulic system, a Leisure Furl, which we just sort of walked down the dock and took a picture of. So if the customer recognizes this boat, thank you very much.
And he should thank us for the promotion.
Anyway, so the deck layout, that was good. You lead a clean lead back from the mast, back on leads, fair leads back into the cockpit. Did you have a snubbing winch too?
We had, for the with the furl, you got that latch where you can latch it in the front,
sure,
and we had to do that.
Latch and lock.
We had to do it most of the time, unless it was light air. We locked it because we just never knew what we were going to expect to get. You got to remember, we were, especially in the Indian Ocean, the seas were up to 26 feet high. So, and people talk about having to turn dead into the wind in order to furl it. We found out through trial and error, I guess, that as long as you can get the main to be in the center, which you could do by keeping the jib close in, and about even though you would technically still be in a beam reach, that mainsail would fly backwind and fly back and forth. So as long as there was no pressure,
that's a good trick.
So
oversheet the headsail, just so it backwinds the main, so it depowers the mainsail all the time.
So that really made it easy. So we didn't have to swing all the way into the wind. And when you're doing that in 12 or 15-foot seas and all that, you got to do that and then go right into the wind.
Did you ever just sort of drop off your traveler and do it on a reach or a beam reach?
Well, that's what we did.
Yeah.
We had it on a beam reach, but we always made sure that the main in the front, right up against the mast, was flapping back and forth. We wanted to make sure there was no pressure on it.
Yeah, depowering the main. Does your boat have aft spreaders? Does the rake on the spreaders go fairly far aft? Yeah. So a lot of boats, and catamarans in particular, have this sort of setup now. The modern boats have today's rigging have swept back spreaders. So this anomaly of furling dead downwind with the new modern boats, and Jopie's boat is kind of a thing of, you can't do it really because the sail will drag up against the spreaders with swept back spreaders. So it can be done furling downwind, but it takes a lot of experience, and there's plenty of customers who've done that on their trips around the world, but you've really got to understand your system, which leads to the next point. How did your crew react using the Leisure Furl? Because it takes obviously a lot of common sense and a lot of practice with furling.
In the first half, I had a crew member who did the Mexico race with me, so he was very familiar with Sky.
Yeah, you won that, didn't you?
Yeah, I won it.
Yeah, well done.
As an example, I don't know if the Leisure Furl won it as much as the sailing ability and the sails. But they were brand new sails from Doyle Sails, and yeah, so we won that race. So DJ is a good racer, a good sailor guy, and then we had a new guy with us who was used for video photography, who the only thing he's ever sailed was a Hobie. But he picked it up. What you have to do is educate yourself how furling booms work. And you've got to spend the time to set it up correctly. Since I own a boat yard and we've done a lot of leisure furls, we spent 6 to 7 hours with the customer on a new installation, showing them all the things can go wrong or right, and just set it up correctly. On brand new sails, you might have to set it up or do some final adjustments, maybe second or third day of sailing. But that was it. Once that's done, that's it. We marked the spots, so we knew exactly where the first reef would be, the second reef, the third.
Just like this guy's got, with a batten mark right on his vang. That's his furling angle.
Yeah, exactly.
With an orange mark, you line that up with your vang.
Yeah.
And that's your go-to mark when you furl.
And
so
yeah, I think
that
that's
helps a lot. Yeah.
And we did the same thing. We didn't do that. That's a pretty smart move, but mainly because when you're offshore like that, you don't want to have somebody go in front of the deck. We had a little batten that we used right by our arch. We had a and the arch, we just hold the thing up, verify it's correct, and that was it.
You can mark a topping lift if you use a topper as well.
Exactly.
So, but you know what we're trying to communicate here is basically you just can't jump on a boat and operate a Leisure Furl if you haven't sailed a Leisure Furl before, because it takes a little bit of crew training. So yeah,
but one of the things on this particular boat, since the boat was actually designed for ocean sailing, so it's not like a buoy boat, and I knew for a fact that we were going to end up with a third reef. So now you got the first reef lines back there, the second reef lines back there, the third reef lines back there. And if people think, well, you don't need to do that for the third reef until you need it. Well, when you need it offshore, you don't want to have people up front of the deck trying to run those lines back. So I look at it as a safety issue. The only thing that I did in the second half, we had a different crew. We had an Australian on board and a kid from South Africa and a guy from the Netherlands who lives in Curacao. And we had to train those over again on exactly how to do it. The Australian, Steve, would give me a rough time because I was pushing the boat a little bit. And he would have preferred me reefing before we did that, and I guess it's the racing in me that, it was, if I do it all over again, it'd still be a Leisure Furl. So it's just that simple.
Good.
Just that simple.
So, we've got 6 reefs on a Leisure Furl because we've got 6 battens, and you like to put your battens on the mandrel as a reefing point, system. So did you ever get down to fewer battens and like you said, 3 reefs, 3 battens?
Yeah, the flattening reef is what I call the first batten.
Yeah.
I had conversations with Mark Lowe from Doyle Sails about that, and he suggested I tried without that last batten, the big one. And the truth of it is, when you're doing the sailing I was doing, you really go right into the first reef when you need to. If we were racing one-on-one against other boats, we probably use the flattening reef. But we find that we were just always reefing either the first reef, second reef, or third reef. At night, because we were getting the weather reports twice a day, offshore like that. If we felt that there could be potential of some heavy wind during the night or a squall coming in, we would actually put in the third reef, because the furler is electric, so we can just bring the jib in and out without a problem.
Nice.
And that way you don't have to wake everybody up. The way we sailed, we had 4 people total, including me, and 3 hours on, 9 hours off. So you're only on it for 3 hours. We have 2 autopilots that we can switch back and forth for wear and tear. It just made it easy. One person could, shake a reef without much of an issue.
Yeah.
So, and mainly because it's electric, But the key was holding, as you're raising the sail, to hold the furler line tight. And I just let it slide through my hand,
right,
and keep it tight so it don't bunch up, and then you run out of
Yeah, you just
space.
can't let it drop. You just got to control
Right.
the furling.
Yeah.
The other thing, did you have any issues with the boom? Because it's all at deck level too. You can work on it if you needed to. Whereas if you had a furling mast, obviously you don't have any battens, no performance basically, and you have to get in a bosun's chair to go up and repair any problems. At least you're at deck level here with a Leisure Furl if there was an issue. Did you ever have to do that? Repair anything underway at the
yes,
deck? You did?
Yes. What we had was we had to drop the entire mainsail at one point because apparently somebody had let it out a little bit too far, and the sail rubbed against one of the spreaders, and one of the seams popped. And we ended up having to sew it by hand. And and it's a big sail, so you got to understand it's an 85-foot mast. So we had one guy on one side and one guy on the other side, and we're feeding it back and forth.
A needle.
With a needle.
And thread.
And when the boat got to South Africa, and North Sails is the ones that did the repairs on it, he said we almost don't have to touch that one because it was done so well.
Well done.
But that was it, and it had nothing to do with the furler. It's strictly about us allowing the sail to rub against the batten. I think in all the times we had to replace that one roller.
Right.
And
that's right.
And that was probably because.
And how was your service from Forespar? Did we get right on it and do it for you?
They got right on it.
Hey.
It would have been nice if they had used some red Loctite when they put the fastener in, because it didn't break. It's just the fastener on the stainless steel popped out because it was not so, and that's it. But it didn't stop us any. There's enough because there's actually 2, 4, 6, 8. There's 8 rollers involved in it. Right?
Yeah.
So losing one wasn't a big deal, and Forespar got us another one.
Shipped it to Australia or New Zealand?
Yeah. Well, Tom jumped on the airplane.
I wish I had him.
He flew first class, and he brought that little
FedEx or
no,
DHL
it was FedEx.
or
It was
UPS?
FedEx, and it was fine. It was no thing, and
Good.
no, it's.
So anyway, Jopie's boat now is in where? Jamaica, is it? Or?
It's in Trinidad.
Trinidad. Yeah. So it's
let me make not trying to make a sales pitch out of this, because I wouldn't do that in front of you. But we had a customer, again, I own a boat yard, but we had a customer who was ready to sell their boat. And it was a Bristol, nice boat. And I asked them why, and they said, well, we're getting too old for this. And I said, if I could show you how to sail that boat by yourself, would that help? And we installed the Leisure Furl on this particular boat. We put it in an old bow thruster, and they still have it. So that's 12 years later. So there's an example of just adding something that makes it easier to handle the boat. It really extends the usage of your boat.
Yeah,
So
nice.
I think that's the one thing I like about the 57-footer I have is I can sail that boat by myself, and that makes it nice.
Yeah, that short-handed sailing, that's the thing about Leisure Furl. A lot of people have those questions, and we've been around for over 30 years. So we've got all the inventory, everything's built in California, and we ship all over the world. Catamaran business is really hot these days. Obviously monohulls, big monohulls, we do hydraulic systems, we do, you know, the electric winch systems. We can even do electric furling systems if necessary. But yeah, we're thankful for Jopie for doing this interview, and hopefully you customers out there will get a better understanding of Leisure Furl and enjoy your time out there. Thanks very much, Jopie.
I appreciate it.
And
Thank you very much.
anything else you want to add to it?
No, I
Comments, or
just
you think you got it covered, or?
every negative thing you ever hear about furling, it's always human error. If it's set up correctly and you learn how to use it, you don't regret it at all.
Okay. All right. Thanks for your time today, people. Bye-bye.